Life of a Showgirl is Taylor Swift's worst album. It just is. But it didn't have to be. This is the Cliff Notes version of a longer form video that I'm going to film in the morning, but basically I'm using my English degree for once to critique content that people willingly put out into the world. And my critique today is that this album sucks booty. Production is boring and sloppy. The lyrics combine this weird elementary school rhyme scheme with the most explicit and raunchy kind of sexual material that Taylor has ever included in her songs. What's supposed to be the through line, this story of the life of a showgirl, the title track that kind of just feels like an afterthought to cover up what is in fact a sloppily put together combination of love songs and trad wife anthems. Oh, and we can't forget the homages to her haters, who she is unbothered about, but who are so bothered by her that they've made songs about her. So now she has to make a song to tell them how unbothered she is. This critique sounds harsh. It's because it is. It's also because I am a Swifty. I've been a Swifty my entire life, and I just expect better from her. I did a video a couple months ago whenever the track list for the album dropped, where I basically said I hope she's not trying to insinuate that she is Ophelia, because she's not Ophelia. Like, if you've ever read Hamlet, or if you're even somewhat familiar with the source material, she's not Ophelia. At best, she's Gertrude, and I was hoping that this would be like a mature reclamation of the Gertrude story from the vantage point of a 35-year-old woman. Unfortunately, that's not what it is. It's still the same self-mythologizing that she seems very attached to. This idea that despite being a billionaire, despite having private jets, despite dating and being engaged to a man who has multiple Super Bowl rings and is a millionaire in his own right, despite being thin, tall, blonde, white, straight, all of these things that confer her a very high level of power in our society, she feels like she's nothing. She feels like she is a victim. She's being victimized by father figures like Scott Borchetta, by singers like Charlie XCX, and is expressing a real fear throughout the album that she was going to fall victim to lonely spinsterhood, which she calls the fate of Ophelia, which is just like categorically false. Like, that's not Ophelia's fate. I think it's very ironic that this album came out the same week that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's divorce is announced, because Nicole Kidman has this very similar story of holding an Oscar in her hand, having just won for The Hours, and looking around and realizing she didn't have anybody to share it with. I mean, 2 kids that she had with Tom Cruise, but she doesn't talk about them. She wanted a husband. She wanted a family. She wanted that traditional fulfillment that most women, particularly white women, seem attached to because their existence doesn't really mean anything without it. And through her relationship with Keith Urban, she finally is able to realize that. She has the professional success, but she also has the family success. And we see Taylor say a lot of the same things on this album. I have all of this stuff, but I don't have a man. I don't have a house with a basketball hoop at the end of the driveway. I don't have kids that have the face of the love of my life. She's basically thanking Travis for saving her from spending the rest of her life alone. What signal are we sending? What message are we sending when we tell people that even me, as the most successful pop artist in the world, as a woman, I feel unfulfilled with all of my millions and all of my diamonds and all of my planes and famous friends and everything that I have, because I don't have a husband and I don't have a family. I have literally never in my life heard a man say that. Singer, dancer, actor, athlete, nothing. I've never heard a man say, look at my wife, thank God for my wife, she saved me from being alone for the rest of my life. She made it so that I could have a family, I could have a wife, and now I feel so fulfilled, even though I already had everything going for me. I have, however, heard successful men say, oh, thank God for my wife, I was at rock bottom. She saved me from rock bottom. She healed me, she rehabbed me, she brought me back from the brink, and now my life is so much better for all of the stuff that she's done for me. The difference there being, the woman in that scenario that I just described is doing real labor to save a man's life, to make him the person that he has always wanted to be. The man in this scenario with Nicole Kidman and Taylor Swift is basically just showing up and loving her and like nutting in her, putting a ring on her finger, making it so that she can walk down an aisle, making it so that she has this perfect image of white Western family values. Even on an album with key art that looks like this, we cannot escape messaging that is, your life means nothing unless you have a family. Or I should say, my life meant nothing until I was promised a family by this man who saved me. I think it's sad. I think it is emblematic of a lot of criticisms that people had during the mid-2010s of all of these singers and songwriters who were coming out and proclaiming themselves to be feminists, but who really just seemed to, like, not understand what that meant. In a similar way, I think, like, I was listening to the album and I was like, do you know who Ophelia is? Like, have you heard of Elizabeth Taylor? Do you know what these words mean? Making references to Travis's Redwood. Neither of you are from California. What is the purpose? Compared to this, Lover is a masterpiece. You just have to believe that she made a throwaway TS12 so that she could really hit with TS13, because the life of a showgirl, there was no show and there was no girl. I'm not really sure what this is.